Welcome back to Fantasy Basketball This Week, your home for fast and easy to digest fantasy basketball advice. Today we're talking streamers that are going to help you win your matchup this week. If you lost your matchup in the opening week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you need to. If you won your matchup, hit the subscribe button anyways. Good to see all the new faces here. Comment down below who is your best player, who is your worst player, who are never drafting again. Let me know all that stuff. With all that said, let's get right into the action. All right, guys, like I said, today we're talking streamers that you're going to want to pick up throughout the week in order to win your matchup. And the easiest way to win your matchup is to utilize streaming back-to-backs. So what that means is you take the worst player on your team, you switch him out for a guy that's going to play a back-to-back that day, maximizes the amount of minutes you're going to get, maximizes the amount of points you're going to get from that player. So starting off, Monday, Tuesday, there's only one back-to-back, and that's Denver. And there's a clear-cut choice on who you should pick up from Denver as a streaming option, if not a full-time option, and that's Will Barton. In the absence of Jamal Murray, he's been a phenomenal point guard for Denver. He's definitely filled that role and has played really well, especially in a fantasy sense. So definitely go out and pick up Will Barton. He's only owned in about 28% of fantasy leagues, at least in ESPN, and he's averaging 38 fantasy points a game right now. And I know that's better than about 90% of your third-round draft picks. Moving on to Tuesday, Wednesday, there's Lakers and the Thunder playing in a back-to-back, but we're going to completely stay away from the Lakers. If anything, we're going to go with Josh Giddey and Isaiah Roby from the Thunder. They're just about the only options worth considering that night. Both have the potential to put up 30-ish points on a very, very good night. However, it's unlikely just because the Thunder are a very bad team, and they're not likely to be motivated to go put on a show every night. I would save this acquisition for another night in order to maximize the value of your matchup acquisitions. Moving on to Wednesday, Thursday, we have Atlanta, Memphis, and Washington all playing back-to-backs. There's two teams here that are a little bit lower than the other, and that's Atlanta and Washington. Atlanta, you have DeAndre Hunter and Kevin Huerter. They're the only two guys worth considering on Atlanta that are rostered in under 50% of the league, and that's purely due to their ceilings and the amount of minutes they're getting, which is about 30 minutes per game at the moment. On Washington, Daniel Gafford and Neto are viable options. However, Kuzma and Harrell have pretty much cemented their spots in the front court of the Wizards. They've been playing very, very well. Shout out to the Wizards, who are just playing really well. Were able to put up a good fight in OT the other day. But I wouldn't be so sure that Gafford is going to get a ton of minutes behind those two guys. Neto, on the other hand, is playing behind Spencer Dinwiddie, who played a phenomenal game in that overtime game. He was a clear-cut winner at the point guard position. So basically what I'm saying is you're going to want to go for the Memphis players on the Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. And who on the Memphis Grizzlies are we going to look at that are rostered in under 50% of the leagues? We're looking at Desmond Bane, DeAnthony Melton, Steven Adams. They're each getting about 30-ish minutes a game, and they're absolutely stuffing the stat sheets. I would be looking for Grizzlies players to be the Thunder players of last year in the sense of they're going to be great streaming options throughout the year. Thursday, Friday, there's only one back-to-back, and that's Dallas, and I'm looking at Jalen Brunson. He's going to be a go-to streamer this year, consistently good for about 20 points a game. Not much to talk about on Dallas, except for Jalen Brunson, who's owned in less than 50% of ESPN leagues. Friday and Saturday, there's a lot of back-to-backs with Cleveland, Denver, Indiana, Miami, New Orleans, Orlando, and Toronto all playing in a back-to-back. So due to the sheer value or the sheer amount of teams playing on these 2 days, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to pick up a streamer for these two back-to-backs just because you're not going to get the maximum value out of that. Saturday and Sunday, there's 3 back-to-backs. We're talking Detroit, Milwaukee, and Utah. Look for Milwaukee's Pat Connaughton as he's been able to fill that bench role, that bench scoring role for the Bucks. He's put on 2 good games, 1 average game. But that's who I'm looking at. Also, Jordan Nwora if you're in a very, very deep league. And then on the other hand, we're looking at Utah's Hassan Whiteside, who looks like he's finally found a comfortable role for himself on the bench behind Rudy Gobert. He's getting good minutes, and he can easily get you 25 plus a night, if not 30 points a night, depending on the minutes that he's getting. So overall advice for this matchup is to maximize your acquisitions by utilizing back-to-backs. Get rid of that worst player and fill that role with guys that are going to do that who can put up the same amount as the guy you're dropping, but do that on back-to-back nights. And you're going to do that throughout the week in order to get the most minutes, gets the most points. The guy that I'm absolutely looking out for on the waiver wires this week is Will Barton. He has done a great job taking over for injured Jamal Murray, and look for him to do that throughout the season, as Jamal Murray is unlikely to come back until very, very late in the season. That's going to be it, guys. So like I said, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that little red subscribe button down below. It would mean a lot to us, and you can unsubscribe whenever you're ready. With all that said, thank you. Peace.